कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकि कोकिलम्। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताया पतये नमः। जयत्याश्रितसन्त्रास ध्वान्तविध्वंसनोदयः प्रभावान् सीतया देव्या परमव्योमभास्करः परमव्योमभास्करः।
श्रीमते निगमान्त महादेशिकाय नमः। As Rama was witness to the young boys singing Srimad Ramayanam, from this we need to understand and conclude certain facts which are actually facts. 1. Ramayanam was written by Valmiki, compiled by him later, during the time of Rama. Though the incidents in Rama's life happened much earlier, the compendium written by Valmiki, called as Srimad Ramayanam, was taught to Lava and Kusha, and Rama was witness to this biography and he had approved of it. Like how Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam was recited to Krishna in front of Krishna by Bhishmacharya and Krishna had agreed upon it. Similarly was Ramayanam in front of Rama. Second, Uttara Kandam is integral to Srimad Ramayanam, and only when you add Uttara Kandam along with the 6, which makes it 7 Kandams, will we arrive roughly at a count of 24,000 shlokas. The third important thing, whatever Srimad Ramayanam says has been vouched as Mukhya Pramanam by our Acharyas. With this belief, we need to get into Srimad Ramayanam. Valmiki now takes us 41 years before the birth of Rama, before the incarnation of Paramatma as Rama. So he says, I'll now describe Kosala, this particular province, with its capital as Ayodhya. Kosalo nama muditaha sphito janapado mahan nivasya sarayu tire prabhuta dana dhanyavan. This particular city was filled with the required dhanam and dhanyam. You need food, you need money. It was filled with money and the required dhanyam. And this particular Manuna Manavendrena Yapuri Nirmita Swayam, says Valmiki. This particular city was by the banks of river Sarayu. We all know from history that most ancient civilizations lived and thrived on the banks of rivers. So if you take up Sindhu, which is Indus today, you had the Indus Valley civilization. And then if you come towards Bharata Desham from the Sindh river, which is the Sindhu river, Indus river, you have Saraswati. No more it is a river, it is a dried bed of that particular river, but it is believed that Saraswati flowed. So you had a civilization thriving on the banks of river Saraswati. Then Yamuna, then the portion between Ganga and Yamuna, then on Ganga, and the portion between Ganga and Brahmaputra, then the civilizations downwards on the banks of Narmada, Godavari, Krishna, Tungabhadra, Kaveri and Tamraparani. So these are all river valley civilizations. So he says, Nivasya Sarayu Tire Prabhuta Dhanadhanyavan. It is on the banks of river Sarayu. So after having told this, he tells us the beautiful flora and fauna. He describes that the citizens of Ayodhya were happy because they got what they wanted, what they required, what was relevant to them, and they had it sufficiently. And the king also ruled his subjects well. But the king cannot keep ruling or doing things, everything by his own. He needs a set of ministers. So that is when he describes, Valmiki describes, Drishtirjayanto Vijayaha Surashtro Rashtravardhanaha Akopo Dharmapalascha Sumantracha Ashtamo Arthavit. Certain people, for example, Drishtirjayanto, Drishtir. So there was one minister who was responsible for a vision. We say vision 2050 document, 2100 document, 2100. Similarly, there was one person who used to design the vision. Jayanto, the one who was responsible for the victory of that particular army. Vijayaha, who would ensure only triumph. Surashtro Rashtravardhanaha, the one who were capable of administering and taking care of the law and order situation in the country. Akopo Dharmapalascha, the one who would ensure that the rules and dharma are followed to the T. Sumantra, the one who was a very good minister, very good advisor. Arthavit, the one who was responsible for the financial status, the economy of the kingdom. So he had 8 ministers. All of them were very well qualified and qualified for that particular ministry or profession. Ritwijau dva vibhamatau tasyatma rishi sattamau vasishtho vamadevascha mantrischa tatha pare. There were very good Ritviks who were very learned. They were good tutors. They were Vasishtho Vamadevascha, Vasishtha and Vamadeva. The same names we will come across in Rama Pattabhishekam. Vasishtho Vamadevascha Jabalir Athakashyapaha Katyayanaha Suyajnascha Gautamo Vijayasthata Abhyasinchannaravyagra Prasannena Sugandhina. We will get it later. So those 2 Maharishis are mentioned. Suyajnyo Apyatha Jabalihi Kashyapo Atha Gautamaha Markandeyastu Dhirgayustatha Katyayano Dvijaha. Markandeya, Katyayana, they were all a part of those people responsible for the good conduct of dharmic activities. Now, in this particular beautiful scenario with a great king called as Dasharatha, who was very valorous. There is one statement which tells how much of money, how much of time, how much of talent he invested in his army, because army requires the horses very much. So he says, Kam bhoja vishaye jatair balharikaischa hayottamaihi vanayujai nadi jaischa purnam harihayottamaihi. So he used to procure very good horses. From where? Kambhoja, then Balhika, then these are all the regions he describes. These are all regions around the northern part of India. Let's take Punjab, parts of Kashmir, and then include it to Pakistan, go up till Afghanistan and some parts of the Central Asian countries as well. Because these were the places where horses, very good breed of horses were available and they were very well trained. Such horses used to be imported in Dasharatha's kingdom. So he was a very good administrator, a very good leader to his ministers, a very good caretaker to his citizens. So he understood every stakeholder and appointed the right set of people for dispensing such activities and took good care of them. Well, if everything is positive, there has to be a cause of worry. What was his cause of worry? That he didn't have sons. Sir, isn't this wrong? The Lord chooses to decide the gender of a particular child, whether it is a male or a female. Of course, the parents are equally responsible, where you have XX, the female, XY, the male. In such a scenario, sir, how do you say that the king desired sons? Isn't this provoking the female gender, the feminine gender? No, because he already had a daughter. Her name was Shanta, and this Shanta was given in marriage to a particular Maharishi. Who is this Maharishi? That Maharishi was Rishyashringa. Rishyashringa was the son of a rishi called Vibhandaka. Vibhandaka Maharshi lived in a hermitage in the south of India, in the current state of Karnataka, near the revered holy town called Sringeri, in a small village called Kigga. This Vibhandaka Maharshi had a son. This son had an extra growth, unusual growth, which resembled on his scalp, which resembled the horn of a deer. There are many deer species. There used to be one category called the Rishyam class of deers. Rishyam class of deers had a horn over their scalp. So this child too had that particular horn-like structure, extra growth. Since he had a horn similar to the horn of a Rishyam deer, he was called Rishyashringa. Rishyashringa for a very long time performed penance at the top of a hill. This hillock where he performed penance, Giri means mountain. Shringa performed penance on that Giri. Shringagiri became Sringeri, which is a holy town in Karnataka. So this girl was given in adoption. This daughter, Shanta of Dasharatha, was given in adoption to a king called Romapada of Angadesham. Angadesham is the region in West Bengal and Bangladesh and parts of Bihar. So this king called Romapada adopted Shanta as his daughter, and when he knew that his region Angadesham was suffering from a drought, and the rishis around said that copious rainfall will come and will be able to quench the thirst of this region only when a great Maharishi such as Rishyashringa steps on this particular land. How to attract Rishyashringa? Rishyashringa had grown up in a boys only school, so he had never seen the other gender. Shanta, the daughter of the king, was dispatched to bring him to the region. Shanta let a group of dancers dance in front of him. He was attracted. She brought beautiful and very tasty sweets from Angadesham. Since Angadesham is akin to West Bengal and Bangladesh today, you can think of Rasgulla, Rasmalai and so on. So he was attracted by Shanta, and he followed her and her retinue of dancers till Angadesham, and the moment he stepped in, it is said that it started raining. Then she was given in marriage to Rishyashringa Maharshi. So Dasharatha had a daughter who was given in adoption. She was well settled. Now the king desired sons. So it was not as if he was averse to the female gender and he was vouching only for the male. He had a daughter, now he wanted son. So as we know, life, karma, if you have everything, you will still have some void space. You will have that emptiness. Dasharatha wanted to get cleared of that emptiness, and he wanted to have children, which are sons in this case. But what did he do towards that? We need to see in the next episode.
Dear Astika reader, I am happy to be authoring a two-part book on the Ramayana in English. The first part is slated for release in the year 2024. The book aims to recreate and retell the Ramayana of Valmiki, conforming to the ancient commentaries and other allied literature. To receive notifications of the book release, kindly register with www.deshikadaya.org/books. Namaskaram.